Hey everybody, Jeff Reinhart here again. Video 3, Week 3, LA League Football. 5 Section 3 games here to chat about. Starting with, remember these guys? Anvil-Cleona. They haven't played in a while. Dutchmen postponed their game against Hamburg until November 11th, which is the week after the regular season is over. Apparently Anvil and Cleona and that whole area just were kind of wiped out here with these floods. I actually drove through there the other day and it looked pretty bad still. Coach Lehman said a lot of his kids were just struggling with, housing and the flood and all that stuff, so they agreed with Hamburg to push that game back. So Anvil-Cleona has only played one game. It was a loss in week 1 to Palmyra, 47-0. So those guys have had a couple of weeks to kind of sit around and stew about that, but obviously life kind of stepped in here the last week or so and kind of disrupted everybody. So Dutchmen will go on the road here and they'll go to Fleetwood. They'll play the Tigers. They're 0-2. Keep an eye on Corey Younger, the quarterback. He's really, really good. I saw him at the SVS camp down in Maryland this summer, and he was spectacular. So puts up a lot of numbers, running, passing, very efficient kid, but Fleetwood kind of struggles here, and they don't have a win yet. They'll get Anvil, which has plenty of rest. See if the Dutchmen can, I don't know, just kind of forget about the last week and all the stuff at home and get back to playing some football. Anvil-Cleona at Fleetwood. Next up, Columbia, 2-0. Tide playing well. Goes on the road to Birdsboro, and they get Daniel Boone. Daniel Boone's quite good here. They're 2-0, coming off a 61-7 win against Donegal. And then last week, they played Springford, which is a good District 1 team down in Royersford. Needed overtime. Tommy Bedolla scored in OT. Boone pulled that one out 20-14, and that was going to be a stiff test kind of a game for them. So tricky test for Columbia. Seth Lefevre did very well in his first start back at quarterback since sophomore season. Passed for 150, threw a couple touchdown passes to Mike Burke IV. Columbia beat Northeastern York 20-8, and the only touchdown they gave up was on a fumble return. So fun stat here, I like this. LL League defense, Columbia #1, giving up 181 yards a game. Burke's League, Daniel Boone, defense, #1, giving up 139 yards a game. So a couple of good defenses on display here, but certainly both teams have kids that are weapons. Obviously, Lefevre and Burke have done damage already, and Boone has Bedolas, and Daryl's got the running backs coming off a 1,000-yard season. So a lot of weapons here, but two good defenses here. Columbia actually leads this series. I know Boone's won the last couple of years here, kind of convincingly. So we'll see if the Tide can go to 3-0, but very, very stiff test having to go over to Boone, which is a District 3 Quad A semifinalist last year. So tricky test for the Tide. Boone against Columbia over in Birdsboro. Next up, Conrad Weiser. Played all LLs here in the non-league. They'll get the last one here against Donegal. Donegal coming off a good win, 45-7 over Fleetwood. Johnny Martin had 4 touchdowns, 2 runs, a catch, and a special teams return. Donegal needed that, coming off the 61-7 loss to Boone. Got the good taste back in their mouths, got 45 points, did some things, moved the ball, had good special teams. Martin also, I think he recovered a fumble and had a pick, and one of those he took back to the house. So Donegal's got to be feeling much better, for sure, coming off that Week 1 loss. Saw Weiser on Sunday over at Cedar Crest. A different team because they lost all those players, Oliveto and Weiser and Robinson. But the Angel Cruz is a really good running back, and he's shifty, and he had 3 touchdowns against Cedar Crest, and these guys can move the ball. They do the same kind of wildcat package stuff, and quite frankly, they just sort of feasted on field position against Crest because they gave him the ball 3 times. So Weiser's 2-0 with wins over 2 LL teams. They beat Conestoga Valley in Week 1, held them off, and Cedar Crest in Week 2. So see if Donegal can keep the momentum going. I still say Donegal's there in the end. This is a pretty tricky game. Weiser's been to the District 3 AAA semifinals last 2 seasons in a row, and they'll bring some momentum here to Mountjoy. Weiser at Donegal. Next up, Northern Lebanon will play at Hamburg. Hamburg's in the same boat as Anvil-Cleona. They just have the one game because the Anvil game was postponed last week. Hamburg's 1-0. Beat Elko in week 1, so they know the LL programs here. They'll get a Northern Lebanon team that struggled defensively on Monday, gave up 54 to Lebanon, but got the offense churning a little bit. They scored 28 after getting shut out in week 1 against Pine Grove. So some positive things offensively for the Vikes, but they really got shredded there against Lebanon in that air raid. They gave up 35 first downs in that game and 625 yards. Wow. We'll see if Northern Lebanon can get going, see if Hamburg's a little rusty. Interesting game there. Northern Lebanon at Hamburg. Last game here for the videos this week, Octorara will go to Pequea Valley, kind of backyard neighbors there in that neck of the woods. Braves, fun numbers. 2-0 for the first time since 1999. And they're going for the second 3-game winning streak in the history of their program. They've only done that one other time. So an exciting time for the Braves. They're playing well. Top rusher in the league, Chris Schmidt, 364 yards. Top QB efficiency rating passer in the league, Chad Tyson. 10 completions, 4 for touchdowns, no picks. Tanner Schmidt doesn't have the funky catch number that he usually has, but he's averaging 36 yards per catch, and I want to say 4 of his 6 catches or something like that have gone for touchdowns. So Pequea's doing some things, playing defense too. They're a top 5 defense in the league right now too. I know they played York Tech and Kutztown, and I know both of those teams are 0-2, but let Pequea have some fun. These guys kind of earned this, and they put in a good summer, and they're playing well. They get Octorara on Friday. It's their home opener. If they can win that, it would be their first ever 3-0 start, and it would be the second 3-game winning streak in the history of their program. So hats off to Pequea doing some things. Okay, that's week 3. After an odd week 2. Live blogs, Friday night, Lancaster Catholic, McCaskey. I'll catch you from there. That should be fun. Saturday night, Lebanon at Elko in the Autism Awareness Night from Myerstown. I'll get you a live blog from over there. Week 4 next week, section openers. We'll wrap up the non-league stuff and get you ready for section play next week. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.